As I write this, I'm nursing a glass of whiskey on my back porch. I don't know how to describe what I'm feeling right now. It's been 11 years since he disappeared. That kid has been my whole world since the day he was born. His mother has been in his life since he was a baby. It's a long and frankly traumatic story, so I won't tell it here. But to condense it, she's an addict, and only God knows where, so I've been Ozzy's legal guardian since he was 2. On October 31st, 2014, Ozzy told me he was going out with his friends for the night. I remember it so vividly. His face with brown freckles like his mother, the mole on his neck that I have too. I've played that day in my mind 1,000 times, every detail in Technicolor again and again just to have something to hold on to. His mop of curly dark hair, the red hockey jersey he was wearing, his jeans, his mother's ring he wore on a chain around his neck, all of it. I didn't know at the time, but him and his friends had actually planned to explore, party, and spend the night in the old abandoned house a few kilometers from town. That house always gave me the creeps. Even after years of being a sheriff and having my fair share of unexplained experiences, it just makes my skin crawl. Even more so now, after all this. That damn house has a sordid history. In the 30s, the man who owned it threw a dinner party. He then proceeded to chain the doors shut from outside, climb back in through a window, and slaughter everyone inside. People have told stories about it being haunted since I was a child back in the 70s. It's become a local legend. People took to calling it the Redfinch Manor, and it's been a long-standing dare among teens to stay in there overnight. Most don't make it past midnight before they call it quits and hoof it back up the old road back to town. I can't even tell you how many times I've had to drive tipsy teenagers back home in my black and white off that road at absolutely ungodly hours. Ozzy grabbed his stuff and left around 7 p.m. I wished I had listened to the pit in my guts, grabbed him by the arm, and told him no. I was the one to report him missing around 4 a.m. when he hadn't come home. I didn't sleep that night despite having work at 6 in the damn morning. Maybe it was intuition. Maybe it was God warning me, or whatever the hell is in that house calling out to me that it had taken my little boy. I was sitting on my couch, my phone in my lap with my thumb hovering over the button. I didn't call 911. I called my boss, Frank. He would have gotten there faster anyways. The line rung a few times before his groggy voice answered. Jesus, Joey, this better be good. It's 4 a.m. I felt sick, like at a moment's notice I was going to hurl onto the hardwood floors of my living room. Frank, get over here, please. It's an emergency. Ozzy. Frank, the kid's gone, I said, my voice shaking more than I had ever heard it. It felt like my entire world was already crashing down, even though a logical person would have been able to rationalize, come up with explanations, but For some reason, I just knew. I knew. Frank didn't say much else, and he was in my kitchen with me in less than 5 minutes. I vaguely remember crying. At that time, I hadn't cried in probably years. At least, not like that. I was in hysterics, pacing in my kitchen, insisting that something terrible happened. We searched for hours, trekking through the woods, knocking on doors, looking everywhere. Something pulled me to that godforsaken house. Some otherworldly tether drew me there that night. Myself, a few deputies, Frank, and over a dozen volunteers walked the 2 or so clicks down the dirt road. The sky was turning from the dark black of night to a deep blue as daybreak approached. The manor came into view, and I had this horrible, soul-crushing dread. 19 people swept that house with flashlights, and we didn't find a trace of the kids who went missing that night. Those 5 kids got headstones a few years back. For 3 years, I practically drowned myself in whiskey. I lost myself in grief. I had constant nightmares, dreams about all the horrible possibilities of what could have happened to my nephew. I'm better now, but I can't say I had healed. Ozzy was my only family at the time, though I've since gotten married. His grandfather and grandmother passed in 1991 and 2008 respectively. My sister has been way off the deep end and not in speaking terms with me since 2000, when I took custody of Ozzy. Fast forward to a week ago, December 7th, 2025. I'm still working as a sheriff, and admittedly still mourning on some level. I hadn't thought I'd ever fully get past losing him. I was on duty, sitting in my patrol car, eating cheap fried fast food when my radio crackled to life. 1032. This is Deputy Ross. I need another unit at 762 County Road 144 and call forensics. The abandoned house. That same abandoned house that the less rational part of my brain insisted had stolen Ozzy. I pressed the button and spoke. 10-4, this is Sheriff McKinney. ETA 3 minutes. I flicked on my lights and sirens and peeled out of that parking lot like a bat out of hell. They say death has a smell. Something specific that can't be replicated, and I can assure you that's very true. Like rotting meat sprayed with a sickly sweet perfume. It was faint, but I could still smell it despite the fact that freezing cold had practically frozen the body lying in the snow solid. I didn't need to look long to know the body belonged to one of those missing kids. I'll say that again. We found a body. A dead body. Not bones. After 11 years. A body. How the hell wasn't this kid just scattered bones we would dig up after the spring thaw? And what the hell happened to him? Because he was cut up pretty bad, I'll save you the gory details, but it was bad. Really bad. coroner said he'd been dead less a few days. December 2nd, she told me. Stabbed to death. Poor kid bled out right there in the snowbank. That's crazy enough, finding someone freshly dead after over a decade, but the part that left us with even more questions was, why the hell did he still look 17? He should have been 28, so why the hell did he still look the exact same as the missing persons posters we plastered all over the city a few clicks away? Christ, he looked exactly like he did in the senior photos I helped his mom take. This was messed up. This was so messed up. Did some sick bastard preserve him? Keep him alive for 11 years and he just aged insanely well? What was this? I didn't sleep that night either. My wife Winona sat up with me. I had too many questions to relax enough to sleep. I was jittery, on edge. December 14th, 2025. Tonight, Winona was at her sister's house and I was all alone. The place feels empty without her. Almost eerie. Like some strange isolationist dream where I was the only man left alive. Then something changed. I felt that same feeling I did the night Ozzy disappeared, except in reverse. I can't describe it any other way. It was like I just had this sudden lump in my throat and I don't know. Whatever the opposite of dread is. Like when you remember something you'd forgotten years ago and the memory comes rushing back and suddenly everything makes sense and everything is right again. Don't get me wrong. It still freaked me out. But I suppose the Lord wasn't done with me because I thought I was having a stroke when I heard something I hadn't heard in over 10 years echo from my backyard. Hello? Uncle Joey? I didn't even think. Not a single thought went through my head as I jumped off my couch, across my kitchen, and crashed out my back door, still in my gym shorts and tank top, despite the freezing temperature. There, in the foot-deep snow, was my boy. There was Ozzy, still in the same clothes, slowly cutting through the shining powder snow. It felt like time stopped. His jersey was ripped. He was covered in blood, and I'm still not sure how much of it was his. The lab hasn't called me back yet. Had I died in my sleep? Was this some kind of afterlife? It took a minute for my brain to turn back on and actually process what the hell I was seeing. Kiddo, I called out, my voice uneasy. Shit. I cut myself off, bounding off my back porch and into the snow. Who knows how long he's been out in the cold. It's December in northern Ontario, for hell's sake. It was damn near 30 below. It didn't matter how the hell he was alive. All that mattered was that he didn't freeze to death. When I managed to haul Ozzy inside, he just cried. held him in my lap on my kitchen floor like he was a toddler again until Frank and an ambulance got here. My mind was elsewhere. What the hell was I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do now that I'm in the middle of all this? The rest was kind of a blur. Frank called forensics again to go look at the house and test the blood on Ozzy's clothes. I don't really remember much up until I got home about 2 hours ago. It's 4 a.m. and I'm bundled in about 5 layers, drinking a glass of the strongest whiskey I had in the house. He's still 17. Ozzy didn't have much to say other than frantically asking about his friends in the house, about a man, one specific man. Remember how I mentioned the house's history, the massacre in the 30s? Yeah, I don't really know what to make of it either. All I know is that according to Ozzy, whatever the hell is in that house bleeds. And if it bleeds, I can kill it. I've got a 12 gauge in my lap right now. It's taken every ounce of restraint in me not to march over there with as many slugs as money can buy and as much gasoline as I can carry to burn that place in holy fire. If I do, I'll let you know if I can wipe that God-forsaken place off the face of this planet. If not just for Ozzy, if at least for the other 3 kids whose bodies we haven't found yet. This is me, signing off. I need to put the whiskey down and go get some sleep before I do something stupid. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. This is Howl's Eve, and remember, you are never alone in the dark.